Let's go!
Welcome to the Treehouse Cowboys. This is our Cowboys show. We are typically heard Monday through Friday inside the Treehouse Podcast. This, though, is our special branch of the Treehouse Cowboys, where me, Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma, lifelong Cowboys fans, come together and either sing the praises of or denounce the damaging play of our favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys. Last night, they actually did it. They pulled it out in Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football after a weather delay. What was that, Trey?
Woo!
That was pretty good. I like that. Cowboys win in Pittsburgh 20-17 in what can definitely be described as not a pretty win, but a pretty win nonetheless. So let's pick it up real quick. I just want to play this. So last night, if you stayed up really late, you got to watch the Cowboys fumble all over themselves for about 3 hours, three and a half hours, and absolutely pull out a win in Pittsburgh, coming down to a 15-play, 70-yard drive, taking up just over 4.5 minutes in the fourth quarter, where on fourth and goal, after the Cowboys almost shot themselves in the foot, the three previous plays, including Dak falling on a fumble by Rico Dowdle, the ball gets blasted out of his hands from trying to dive into the end zone. We pick it up, fourth and goal, the Cowboys and Dak. Can they pull it out in Pittsburgh? Well, here we go.
Prescott throws, crossing, it's caught for the touchdown! It's Tolbert! Stays in the game and grabs it for the score!
Pretty big win in Pittsburgh. Trey, you don't seem too enthused by it. I'm going to assume that you're not impressed by it either.
Garbage team.
Still garbage.
And I will tell you the sequence of plays that defines this team and how bad, and it's how bad they are coached. Second quarter, it's like 2nd and 8, throw a pass, completion. It's actually a first down. It gets a bad spot. Now, good coaches would have looked at that and said, hey, we need to challenge that. No, what do the Cowboys do? They rush to the line of scrimmage on a 3rd and 1, and then Dak, gets an intentional grounding call.
Yeah.
Horrible coaching, horrible execution. The only bright spot is, I will say this, the defense, for as hurt as they are, really looked pretty good. But all in all, that's not a good Pittsburgh team.
And really, it's not a great Cowboys team either. So it's kind of a weird position that we're all in as Cowboys fans, trying to figure out, well, okay, I'm happy that they won, but I'm not impressed by anything. So I'd actually kind of prefer that instead of them middling, that they just absolutely suck, so they can at least improve the draft position.
I mean,
all that being said, before we get to the Treehouse Big Three takeaways from this win in Pittsburgh, one of the most beautiful things that happened in and around this game wasn't just the Jalen Tolbert catching the go-ahead touchdown with 20 seconds left, which proved to be the game winner, but it was talking to Tyler Smith, our left guard, who ended up having to play left tackle last night, in the post-game interviews, talking about the circumstances that led up to Jalen Tolbert's touchdown to take the lead. Did you guys, let me see if you guys saw this last night. Again, this is from Tyler Smith after the game, Cowboys over the Pittsburgh Steelers, and what happened to Jalen Tolbert before he caught the game-winning touchdown.
Bro, I mean, it was miraculous. I mean, JT literally sprained his nuts. Oh, excuse me, sorry, guys. Sprained his nuts to play before it comes back, makes the game winner. Unbelievable. Extended play. I mean, that's guys playing above the 2.3. Dudes emptying the clip. I mean, it was great stuff.
So there you have it. Tyler Smith's breakdown. of Jalen Tolbert's go-ahead touchdown in Pittsburgh last night.
I mean, you have to give him credit for playing with sprained nuts. I didn't know you could do that. I know you could sprain them. I know you can hurt them. You can crush them. You can all sorts of other things. But I don't know how you get it. Do you put ice on it? What's the sprain? Like,
He didn't have time, so I went back and rewatched it. I think it was on. It was either first or second down. He's Jalen Tolbert's open in the back of the end zone, and Dak throws the ball, and somehow he gets racked.
Okay,
he gets racked in the back of the end zone, and so I guess in Tyler Smith's mind, that means you sprained your nuts. I just guess he was still feeling it in his groin area when he made the game-winning catch.
I thought that's why they took a timeout at the end, so they could keep him in the game and give him a second. I didn't know what had hurt him, but you could tell something was bothering him. And
yes,
sprained nuts certainly would rank up there. And
I think he got. I think, and this is just irony. I think he got hit in the balls with a ball.
That's exactly what it was. He got hit in the ball he got hit in the balls with the ball. And Trey, you may be right. They may have called timeout so his balls could resettle into position so he could actually stay in the game.
Actually, it's getting hit in the ball. If it's only one, that's always seems to be worse.
Yeah. No, that's actually very true, because then the pain is centralized right into the one nut. And when both are crushed evenly, then it's evenly distributed, the pain.
Yeah.
But no, when this is why football is such a dangerous game, because the football's got a point on it, and that point will find one ball. It'll find one nut, and it'll crush that one nut, and the other nut is going to have some sympathy pain, but the one nut's going to be demolished. You're right, Trey. I think that may have been what happened. They realized, oh my God, they're already decimated at wide receivers. No Brandon Cooks. So they needed Tolbert in the game, and so they called timeout to see if his ball would come back down.
We had a guy in high school in 9th grade when we played who lost a testicle in a play. Yeah, and
was
also
it on the field. Like, did it fall out?
No. But if you want to see something like that happen, you can see Yannick Bertrand, the downhill skier.
Oh yeah.
He takes the flag to the nuts. It tears the suit that he's wearing and slices that area. And he was rushed to the hospital where they immediately removed a testicle.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, we posted that on our Facebook, and I think it's got like close to 2 million views now. But you play football with a guy who lost a testicle during a game?
He didn't know he'd gotten injured. Obviously went home and the swelling started, and he had ruptured his testicle, and then they had to take him emergency surgery and have that removed.
Okay. I thought you meant like he knew it immediately. He gets racked very severely, and he looks down, and it's just like an empty coin purse, and it's just blood. And then you have to stop play, and everyone, like losing a contact lens, everyone's got to try to find his nut. Nobody move. Everyone's wearing cleats. We got to see if we could put this on ice and put it back in.
Yeah, it was just one of those freak plays, and he did. I mean, he was down for a minute, and then they pulled him off the field, and he sat there and went back into the locker room, and that's when I guess the swelling had started. He got home and it had gotten much bigger in that area, and black and blue. Ugh. And his folks had to take him to the hospital, and they were like, "Hey, he's ruptured a testicle, so we have to remove it."
That is absolutely terrifying.
I'll throw in it's a baseball stat, but the team that has the most ruptured testicles with 5 in their history.
What?
Mm-hmm.
The Red Sox.
No.
Oh, okay. Yankees.
Nope.
I'm gonna go Texas Rangers.
Nope.
Okay. Oh, who is it?
Seattle Mariners.
Oh, interesting.
Including one I believe Adrian Beltre, who and still played the entire game with it.
Wow, with the ruptured testicle.
Yeah.
That's I was about to say that's ballsy, but it's not.
I think it applies. Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say there was also something going on with CeeDee Lamb and Dak. I don't know what happened there.
Oh yeah, they were jawing at each other.
Yeah. Well, he was jawing. Dak wouldn't even look at him.
You know what, though? At least they're showing some fight.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's with each other.
I would like for it to be the opposing team, but yeah.
Bro, I mean, it was miraculous. I mean, JT literally sprained his nuts. Oh, excuse me, sorry, guys. Sprained his nuts to play before it comes back, makes the game winner. Unbelievable. Extended play. I mean, that's guys playing above the 2.3. Dudes emptying the clip. I mean, it was great stuff.
That is great stuff. I appreciate it, Tyler Smith. Not only is that an excellent analysis of the circumstances leading to Jalen Tolbert's game-winning catch in Pittsburgh, but it also is great that you can also squeeze in, gun references in the middle of it as well.
But you also got to give him credit, because at that point, when you get hit in the nuts, it's first the pain, but then it's that nauseous feeling that you get, and so he's playing through that too. So hats off to him. It's.
And I thought they looked better than the week before. I mean, that's not saying a lot, but I think that's impressive, seeing as how many starters are missing.
Let's jump into that then. Let's jump into that now. So now that we've established the Cowboys did, in fact, nut out a win in Pittsburgh, now let's move over to our big three. Cowboys beat the Steelers 20-17. Raj, what is your big takeaway from this game?
It's exactly that. I thought they looked better, surprisingly. I mean, it's not saying a lot, but they should have, and I agree with Trey, they should have gotten rid of Mike McCarthy last year, and they didn't. And if they would have lost last night and lost the next week, I think they would have fired him. But he saved his job. I think that's why he was really excited. And I just thought, with how many starters were missing, they looked actually better than last week with their starters in play. And so that's my big takeaway.
Trey?
They're garbage. I mean, it's just. I mean, they beat a garbage Pittsburgh team with Justin Fields as a quarterback who's not very good. Yes, I'll say this: the defense put up a little more fight. Offense still looks constipated. Dak still threw a pick. It was at the end of the first half when they were in scoring position. Still mistakes. And again, like Dan Quinn, Redskins, 34-14 over the Browns. And I'll say this: I think the Redskins win the NFC East.
Ooh, that is a big takeaway. Ooh, I'm going to remember that. And I watched a big chunk of that game, Washington and Cleveland, and because I'm curious. Okay, because Cowboys, we're going to have to face the Commanders and new coach Dan Quinn twice. And I will say that I'm a little nervous after watching what I saw, while keeping in mind it's still against Cleveland, but the Commanders' win over Cleveland looked more convincing than the Cowboys' win.
Oh, yeah. And you have to, like, rookie quarterback. He's the number one selling jersey in the NFL. He's the most accurate quarterback in the history of the NFL, of any team. Like, that's incredible.
And the thing, not only is Dan Quinn, but that's Cliff Kingsbury is doing great things as offensive coordinator.
Yeah. So
my big team.
And my big takeaway from this was really twofold. One was I was worried about the outcome of this game. I fully expected the Cowboys to lose this game for a couple of reasons. One, kind of piggybacking on what you said, Trey, they're kind of garbage right now, and I don't see them improving any. They didn't really do a whole lot to improve the team from last year. Even though they made it to the playoffs, it was still one and done. I'm not convinced this is a good team. They didn't really do anything to make anything better in the offseason. So that's part of it. The other big part of it, though, is going into this game against Justin Fields, while he's not a freakishly terrifying quarterback name, he does have that running element that the Cowboys defense seems to have a major issue with, because look, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens going to they just basically flicked the Cowboys like a booger. And for some reason, the Cowboys defense struggles against quarterbacks that can run and throw. Justin Fields could do that. And the defense, for the most part, did pretty well last night. They obviously were able to win the game. Watching that Commanders game and their young quarterback against Cleveland, I'm with you, Trey. I'm very, very worried about Cowboys against the Commanders this season. And then ultimately, my actual big takeaway from the game, though, is the fact that despite how much they sucked at times, they actually were able to overcome themselves. And if I can, be so bold, go back to what I said earlier, which is nut out a win in Pittsburgh. It might have been, stepping on their own nuts for a good chunk of the game. They were still able to pick it up off the turf, put it back in where it's supposed to go, and go 15 plays, 70 yards, and take all 4 downs in the red zone to punch it in. But they did it, and I have to give him a little bit of credit on that.
Yep, I agree.
So now that
what flavor is the Kool-Aid this week?
Fruit punch.
Hopefully not fruit punch.
No. It's blue, but it's sour. it's still a very sour Cowboys, Gatorade that I'm drinking. Look, I'm just trying to give them credit for the fact that they were able to overcome their own idiocy. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you're right, Trey. It's still against a not great Pittsburgh team, even though, keep in mind, that Pittsburgh team was 3-1 going into last night.
And I understand that, but Justin Fields is still the backup quarterback there. I mean, now Russell Wilson will probably flop and they'll put Fields back in, but they're expecting Russell Wilson to take back over next week or in 2 weeks. And he is no Lamar Jackson.
No, he is not. He is not a Lamar Jackson. That is certainly true. But I will say this. The other reason why I was actually surprised the Cowboys were able to nut out this win in Pittsburgh is from a coaching standpoint. Because if you could make a trade in the middle of the game, Mike McCarthy for Mike Tomlin, wouldn't you take it?
Oh, yeah.
Give me Tomlin all day, every day. I think he is a phenomenal coach.
Yeah.
He consistently has his Steelers teams perform above their talent level consistently, whereas the Cowboys coaches and Mike McCarthy have a tendency to perform below their talent level. And
Tomlin makes them practice in full pads on Friday, and that most NFL teams won't do that because they're worried about injury. He doesn't care.
Not even sure if they're allowed to do that per the CBA.
He's never had a losing season in Pittsburgh.
He's a hell of a coach. He's an absolute beast of a coach. And that was why I was most worried about the Cowboys going into Pittsburgh, was because they have the better coach. The only thing that I thought, for the most part, that might save the Cowboys is that Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than Justin Fields. Although at times it didn't look it.
Yeah, so, and Jerry Jones can't admit when he's wrong, when he should have let McCarthy go and hired somebody else, but he has to go, this is my guy. I can't be wrong. I'm Jerry Jones. And that's the fundamental problem with him being the owner and the GM.
He likes someone that, like in McCarthy's case, he likes someone that he can hang out with or spend the night with. Because that's how he got the job. That's exactly how he got the job. McCarthy came in for the interview. He ended up spending the night at the Jones compound. And the next day they announced him as head coach because they had a really good sleepover.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. It's very very Diddy-esque.
Yeah. And Jerry doesn't want to start over, and that's he is basically, especially with the contracts he's put out there. Mm-hmm. It's this or but. I mean, he I don't think he'll live long enough to do another rebuild.
No, he's too old. He's too old to start over. He's too old to rebuild. Speaking of building and rebuilding, this is going to be a stretch, but I want you to hang in with me just for a moment, okay? Mm-hmm. The Hallmark Channel. I think we're all aware that the Hallmark Channel is best known for their holiday movie season, which is going to be starting pretty soon, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the Hallmark Channel also has a reality show that is debuting later this month. That's where they try to find a guy to be their next Christmas movie star. So my question for you guys today in the Treehouse Cowboys show: for the Cowboys to have a Hallmark Christmas, which Cowboy would you like to send to the Hallmark reality show to no longer be a Dallas Cowboy, but instead just be a star of Hallmark Christmas movies?
Yep.
And do they take the contract too?
They get it all.
Okay.
So let me rephrase. Let me put it this way. Hallmark has a reality show debuting later this month where they try to find a guy to be their next Christmas movie star. Which Dallas Cowboy would you like to send to the Hallmark channel and never see or hear from again?
Or you want to go first?
Let's go. Trey, you seem excited. Trey, we'll start with you.
Dak Prescott.
Ooh. I think he'd be an excellent leading man in Hallmark movies.
And let them eat that $240 million.
Yep. Mine would be Mike McCarthy because he'd make a great Santa Claus.
That's pretty good. I like that. So mine is also Mike McCarthy, but for a different reason, because I've actually already got kind of a bit of a premise in mind for Mike McCarthy's Hallmark Christmas movie. And that is he gets fired as Cowboys head coach. And so he has to leave the big city and go back home and save Christmas because he wants to open up a sandwich shop. It's going to be McCarthy's Hoagies. He wants to go back to a simpler time, a simpler life. And he just wants to live a simple Christmas-filled life. And so that'll be the McCarthy Hallmark Christmas movie that I think I would like. And then that means we'd get a new coach.
Yeah, I like it. Hoagies for the holidays.
Yes.
We can call it. I like it. I think and I think Hollywood would pay you a lot of money for that idea.
I think it would work. Look, you got we mentioned before, you got the Kansas City Chiefs doing like the their Hallmark Christmas movie with a Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift kind of rip off, and I think we can do McCarthy's meats.
I think McCarthy's enough of a meathead. I think he would call it knuckle sandwiches.
I don't think that's a Hallmark movie. I think that's more of a Lifetime.
Oh, I think
channel.
it is. He calls it, but then he sees the lighter side, and he all of a sudden like grows a heart, and then maybe it becomes something else.
Or we can sell it. We can send Tolbert, and his special his movie can be called My Nuts Roasting on an Open Fire.
Coming to the Hallmark Channel this year, nutting out at Christmas.
The real nutcracker.
I believe that'll take care of it. All right, Cowboys win in Pittsburgh, 20-17. Cowboys win. They move to 3-2. We will see you next week right here inside the Treehouse Cowboys show, here only on YouTube. We'll see if Trey still thinks the Cowboys are garbage after next week's game. In the meantime,
with Detroit's going to smack them upside the head.
That's true.
So this is going to be just a trail of nuts everywhere all over the field. Can't wait for next week's show.
Let's go!